Psychologists in South Africa have raised concerns over the withdrawal of funding by a number of medical schemes for persons with educational health needs. The withdrawal of funds came after the reclassification of the psychology industry by the Health Professions Council of South Africa. For more on this, I'm joined by Dr. Kistnasamy, an executive member of Society for Educational Psychology of South Africa. Dr. Guru, appreciate your time this afternoon. Two issues that come up. One is the withdrawal of funding, and the second will be reclassification of the psychology industry. Walk us through those two issues and how they've impacted your work.
Yes, thank you for having me, Hugo, on your channel. Yes, actually the cessation of funds or withdrawal of funds has impacted psychosocially on not only practitioners but the population of South Africa in general. You will understand that post-COVID we had a number of patients with anxiety, depression, isolation, and so on, together with other issues such as the Newzroom tragedy, gender-based violence, crime in general, substance abuse, and so on. So the situation is that these medical aids, there's about 4 or 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them actually, used to pay educational psychologists for their services. Members had that benefit, and they suddenly stopped paying, basing their policy on an incorrect interpretation of a 2011 regulation. As soon as that happened, the Minister of Health realized the predicament people are in, and so issued a proclamation in 2019, actually reversing the impact of the 2011 regulations. Despite this, medical aids such as PolMed, GEMS, CAMF, MediHelp, Bonitas are still not paying educational psychologists.
Have you had any conversations with these medical aids, Doctor?
Yes, we had. In fact, we had written to the Health Professions Council of South Africa and the Council for Medical Schemes, who in turn directed our correspondence to the medical aids, and in turn even SEPSA ourselves, we had written to them. But they are very adamant about not reversing their policy. Despite the fact that the HPCSA and the Psychological Society of South Africa realizes that there are great challenges that we are facing as educational psychologists in this country.
Now, is there a way of solving this impasse without going to court or seeking arbitration of some sort?
Yes, I'm hoping that they will pay, because big medical aid such as Discovery, in fact, is continuing to do so. And I think it's more for business reasons. You know, they're probably saving millions of rands by withholding these funds to educational psychologists. But members of these medical aids are in a predicament because they cannot afford the treatment, for example, for the kids who are dropping out of school or for other psychosocial issues or mental illnesses that they are facing. So they're not getting the full benefits of that.
So what are some of these issues that are covered under educational psychology that many patients would come to you with?
Yes, well, we've recently seen in South Africa a shocking increase in the number of teenage pregnancies, for example, children as young as 10 years becoming pregnant. We've also realized that from the time the child enrolls in grade 1, going up to grade 12, many drop out for various reasons, such as a lack of remedial work, difficulty with the grades, and the school system is geared to just pass them through on a condoned basis, even if the child is not competent. So the child becomes frustrated, leads to behavior issues and so on. And those are some of the issues that we deal with as educational psychologists.
So what are the options that these parents who are needing to bring their children in left with? If they can't come to a psychologist, an educational psychologist, such as you or any of your members, what are their options?
Yeah, actually, if we are the guys who provide that service and they have no other resource, and many of them are forced to pay cash, which is for many struggling parents is a big hole in their pocket. And many of them just don't use the service simply because it's unaffordable. So it's quite a struggle for everyone in our country.
Well, I'd imagine that it's also a big hole in your pocket too, Doctor, because if you have these vast number of individuals that previously could come to you, pull out their medical aid cards and have paid for a service, and now they're not, it must have some impact on your business.
Certainly, what has happened is a number of our colleagues have actually sought bigger jobs elsewhere. Some have actually left the country. Many, since this problem started, demised as well, sadly struggling to get it right, and we're not able to. So people are, qualified psychologists with 7 years of training or master's degree and PhDs are looking for other jobs to sustain their families. So it's a sad situation.
Well, it certainly comes across like that. But talk to us about the number of patients potentially that South Africa has. I mean, how many people are we talking about that are regularly in need of some form of educational psychology?
Yeah, in fact, the ratio of psychologists in South Africa is shocking. We have very few psychologists for the population. One estimation had it at less than 2 psychologists for every 100,000 of the population. Yet if you look at a country like Argentina, they have about 11 psychologists for 100,000 of the population. Then we could clearly see that, our people are in need of assistance. And with the poverty in our country, with the rising crime, the natural disasters like the floods that have occurred, the wildfires that are burning off homes, people are left in distress and need psychological assistance. But here we are again, our hands as head psychs are being tied as a result of this, very, very stubborn stance of just a few medical aids.
Dr. Guru, we'll leave it there for now. Appreciate your time this afternoon.